Good morning, beloved. My name is Ebenezer Badure. Today's Open Heavens, November 30th, 2024 topic says, O Lord, arise. Our Bible reading is taken from the book of 2 Samuel chapter 22 verse 7 to 10, while our memory verse is taken from the book of Psalm 7 verse 6, which says, Arise, O Lord, in thy anger. Lift up thyself because of the rage of my enemies, and awake for me to the judgment that thou hast commanded. The main message. In our Bible reading for today, we see that when God hears the cry of one of his children and arises on behalf of that fellow, the whole earth will tremble and the foundation of heaven will shake. This means that when God steps into a situation, his impact will be felt immediately. The topic before us this morning says, O Lord, arise. When we say, O Lord, arise, there are situations that we will need to cry. And further Lord said here that we see that when God hears the cry of one of his children and arises on behalf of that fellow, especially when you on the right side with God, when you cry, there are some situations, there are some peculiar situations that require your cry. Crying has saved a lot of lives. What does it mean to cry? To cry means to pray with desperation, to be desperate with prayer. What does it mean to cry? It means to call on God with passion because of the tough situation before you. You don't see danger coming and be laughing. You are expected to cry. You are expected to cry unto your God. You are expected to cry unto your God. He said, in my distress. So there are peculiar situations that we don't need to take it for joke. There are some peculiar situations that you have to cry unto God. You have to be desperate with your request. You have to be intentional. You have to cry. You have to pray with passion. You have to let God know that you are desperate with this. You have to let God know that you are desperate. You have to let God know that you are dying. You have to let God to know that you are not for play. You have to let God know that your life is in danger. So in such situation, you have to cry unto God. You don't take it easy. Disciples, they were in the boat with Jesus. They were going on the sea, and Jesus was relaxing, sleeping, and the storm struck. What did they do? They cried because they saw danger, they saw death coming, and that drew the attention of Jesus, and Jesus rebuked the wind. As you cry today in that your tough situation that you find yourself in, God will arise for you in the name of Jesus. Let's move on. Do you know that it is possible for you to get God to rise on your behalf? Psalm 144 verse 5 to 6 says, Bow thy heavens, O Lord, and come down, touch the mountains, and they shall smoke. Cast forth lightning, and scatter them. Shoot out thy arrows, and destroy them. When you cry, he said, bow thy heavens, O Lord, and come down, touch the mountains. Mountain represents problems. Touch the mountain. So when you cry unto God, mountain represents problems. When you cry unto God, he said, bow thy heavens, O Lord, and come down, and come down, and come down, touch the mountain. That is when you cry, you are inviting God's intervention into your situation. He said, bow thy heavens, O Lord, and come down. You are inviting God's intervention when you cry, and that God will never disappoint you. Let's move on. When the battles you are facing is becoming too great for you and you need urgent divine intervention, you can specifically ask God to arise and come down to the earth for your sake, and He will do so. God sits in the heavens and control everything that happens on the earth, because the earth is His footstool. However, every now and then, when His children are facing some tough battles, He prefers to arise and come down by Himself to fight for them. Psalm 16 verse 1 to 2 says, "Let God arise, let His enemy be scattered. Let them also that hate Him flee before Him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melts before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God." God's intervention into our situation is very crucial. God's intervention in our situation is very crucial, especially when we need it urgently. When we need God urgently, it's very crucial that we don't fold our hands. You cry as saves a lot of lives. It saved disciples in the boat when they were with Jesus. You know that they cry. We don't know what will have happened, but glory be to God, because the presence of God is with them. So when you see danger coming, you know you need emergency, you need urgent intervention of God. So when such a situation arise in your life, don't let us fold our hands. Let us cry unto God. Say, "Oh Lord, arise. Oh Lord, arise." In fact, what makes God to arise is your cry, is your desperation, is your cry and desperation that can move Him to rise. He sits in the heaven. God sits in the heaven and control everything that is happening on earth. So what can make Him to rise should know that that demand that requires special assignment. So it is a cry, it's our cry that can move God to rise from where He's seated in the heaven. Let's move on. When you become overwhelmed and all you need is for your enemies to be scattered, cry unto God and say, "Oh Lord, arise." He said in Psalm 50 verse 15 that you should call on Him in the day of trouble and we answer you. I have discovered from the scriptures and from personal experiences that whenever a genuine child of God is faced with overwhelming situation, circumstances, and he or she cries for God to arise and fight the battle, God always shows up. That is God for you. You know, God doesn't like His children to cry. Anything that bothers you bothers God. Anything that torments you torments God. So, and that is the reason why anything that concerns you concerns God, as a child of God, as a genuine child of God. So when you are bothered, it is God that is bothered. Whatever that concerns you concerns God. Anything that bothers you bothers God. So He doesn't want His children to be in a sorrowful mood. He doesn't want His children to be shedding tears. So when His children pray in pains, oh my Father, He shows up. And when He shows up, He scatters the ground. When He shows up, when God shows up on your behalf, the whole earth feel it. You see, they said the earth shook. The foundation of heaven will shake. When He shows up, He scatters the ground. When He shows up, the whole earth feel it, because anybody that touches you, He will go down. Because why? You are His child. You are His child. So let us learn how to cry unto God. In my distress, I call upon the Lord and cry to my God, and he did hear my voice. So God hears the voice of his children whenever they are in pains. Let's move on. In 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 14 to 19, King Hezekiah cried to the Lord when mighty army decided to wage war against Judah. He knew that Judah did not stand any chance against the mighty Assyria's army. Therefore, he reported the matter to God. God arose for Judah, and in that same night the angels of the Lord went into the camp of the Assyria army and killed 185,000 soldiers. Hezekiah did not even need to raise an army to fight against the Assyrians. God took care of them himself. That's God for you. Hezekiah doesn't have any army, he doesn't have anybody. And what did he do? He asked God, and he went to God in prayer, in desperation, and God killed 185 soldiers. When God arises, he scattered the ground. Beloved, I want you to take advantage of this. God hears the cry of his children. God hears you more when you pray in desperation. God hears you more when you pray in agony. God hears you more. God hears you more when you pray in pains. God hears you more when you cry unto him, in a desperate manner. He hears you. So take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. And you will see God taking care of those things in your life. Let's move on as I round up. Beloved, do not despair when you are faced with seemingly impossible situation. Cry unto God, and he will surely arise to deliver you. You see, God will surely arise to deliver. When you are faced with tough situation, you don't fold your hands. Please do something. Do something when you are faced, instead of thinking of how to commit suicide. Think of how you can take the matter to God. Let God know that you are desperate, and that God that you cry to will bring you out of that impossible situations, and you will laugh at the end of the day. Because when he shows up, because you have caused him to rise, and when he shows up, he scatters the ground. Your enemy will feel it. The situation that represents mountain in your life will bow for you. The whole earth will feel it. You see, the foundation of heaven will shake when you don't fold your hand, when you cry unto God in your pains. I pray in the mighty name of Jesus, God will arise for you. We arise on your behalf, and those things that represent a mountain in your life shall vanish in the name of Jesus. Before I go, there is a prayer point here. Oh Lord, arise and fight my battle for me. Not every battle you can fight and win. There are battles that you just have to hand it over to God, and that is what this prayer will do for you. Whatever the battle that you have not been able to conquer, today in the mighty name of Jesus, God will take it from you and fight it for you in the mighty name of Jesus. Until I come your way tomorrow, remain blessed.